Good morning, my brothers and sisters, and all my friends. This morning we are going to talk about Madhu Vidya, part 4. We are continuing to establish the dynamic unity and harmony between these two genders, the male and the female gender. Because all our work depends on this honesty, depends on this ground, this foundation, because this is the first step we take out of our body, out of our consciousness. When we become aware about another gender, when we share with another person, when we share not only the physical material, but we share with another person our thoughts, our words, and our deeds. In other words, we share whole of our being with another person. And what is that? That is the gender polarity. Because it is all given by nature. When the soul came to this world of water, it got ionized in these two polarities, two ions, one male and another female. And they become unsatisfied. So they need to share their electrons, not to take away from each other, but to share their electrons like sodium chloride. So in other words, we could say the man and woman are the salt of the earth. So they share their electrons and they marry. You could see this beautiful walk, going to the church together, hand in hand, arm in arm, and that is the greatest example of covalent bond, the chemical bonds, sharing the electron with each other. In this, as I showed you yesterday, when the electron goes through the loop of the male thinks that I got it, and when the electron goes through the female, the loop from the arm. So this electron from the male polarity goes through the loop from the female arm, and they walk in together, hand in hand, arm in arm, and that's their covalent bond, that's their marriage, and they become satisfied. When they become satisfied, from that step onwards, they become co-creators. Till any entity or any organism or any energy which is unsatisfied in herself or itself cannot do any creative work in this universe. They have to have this bond of satisfaction, the bond of togetherness. And then a molecule emerges which can do work, creative work, which can become the hand of God. So when they marry together, they become hand of God. They become the co-creators together. My dear brothers and sisters, we have to learn how to establish the unity of these two genders. And without establishing the dynamic unity and harmony of these two genders, and without this foundation, we won't be able to do any creative work, and we won't be able to perform honest work, honest evolutionary work. And if we don't practice honesty, what is the use of this life? What a big drama of this self-deception. And as it says in the wisdom tradition of ancient India, that you go through this birth and death, the life cycle, the births, the cycle of infinite births. And they counted 8,400,000 births, the cycle. So my dear brothers and sisters, if we live in dishonesty and we deceive ourselves, what's the point of going through hundreds and thousands of births? As they say, 8,400,000 birth cycle. So then it becomes, the whole exercise becomes the cycle of dishonesty and self-deception. And deceiving ourselves. Do you think it is a wise idea? Do you think we are doing something great? Because most of the people who cheat, who are dishonest, they have some kind of arrogance in them that they are smart. But that's a foolish smartness. My dear brothers and sisters, even if we live for one birth, if we can live honestly every moment of our life, and if we can practice Satya Dharma, the religion of truth, with the wisdom tradition of ancient India proclaimed the Satyata Nasti Paro Dharma, there is no religion greater than the honesty and the truth. So better we build the foundation of our life and our existence on earth with the truth, with the Satya Dharma, with the honesty. And when our foundation will be based on honest ground, on the truth, we will be able to do good creative evolutionary work here, and we will be able to justify our existence, the apex of evolution. So the first foundation is to establish honest foundation of these two genders, the equality of these two genders. And how could we do that? There are 3 steps. First, to appreciate the differences of each other. The differences which are so beautiful and so great. And these differences are the manifestation of divinity. Every difference has a divine attitude behind. My dear brothers and sisters, if we really practice the power of observation, like what Lord Buddha said, if you gaze into one flower, you can know the eternity. You can know the whole wisdom, even by gazing in one flower. So if we could use our power of observation and look at, with honesty, with the differences of each other, believe me, we could discover divinity in every difference. Every difference. I would like to tell you the story this morning, that how God created. When the God said, when we can say God was feeling lonely, and he said, Eko aham bahu sham bhavati. I'm one, and I'll create many out of me, so that I have the great display of creativity around me. So the God created many, many, many out of himself. So we all are, the whole universe, every form, every manifestation is the manifestation of God. And I call that God in action. So when we look at the material world, when we look at the whole display of this incredible divine play, we could see the God in action. So when we look at the differences of each other, and if we can respect, if we can observe those differences without any judgmental mind, with innocence and with the trust, we will discover divinity. We will discover that that is a divine character. With my friend, if that is a male friend or female friend. And this story goes like this: after making many infinite forms of the God Himself, God said to everybody that my children, come on Friday or come on Sunday, doesn't matter about the day, I'll give you the costume. And you will be going on the planet of cosmic dust, Earth, to do the evolutionary work. Do my work, and you will become the hands of my creative work. So everybody was so gaga and they went away. That appointed morning, everybody assembled. But in the meantime, everyone was thinking, oh, we have to go to the cosmic planet of cosmic dust. We have to go to Earth. What is that planet? How things will be there? Will it be dangerous? Will it be insecure? Or will it be secured? Or will it be like a garden? Or will it be like a heaven? Everyone was thinking like. So according to their thinking, their thoughts, they concluded that they have to be, somebody said, well, I have to be very careful, I don't know what to expect on that planet, and who will be helping me, so I better be careful. So everyone concluded in their own ideas. And there was a big line, big costume, the line of costume. So in this great hall of costumes, God hanged these costumes on the hangers so that each one could come and examine and see what they need, and they can take freely and make their own choice, own freedom. So everyone came and took the costumes. Many of them were very, very quick. So they got their own costumes according to their own ideas and their own conclusions, what they were expecting. So some got the dress with the horns. Well, I don't know how things are going to be, so I need the horns. Somebody said, well, I need the shoes, so they got their hoops. Somebody said, well, I don't know if it is cold or what is going to happen, so I need my blankets. So they took their blankets. Some took their big claws. Some took their canines. And everyone decided their own costumes, and they made the dynamic choice, and they took their own costumes. The men and women were in the last of the line. So they walked in this hall, and all the costumes went away. There were only two left. So the men, the time they entered the hall, there was so much collective doubt, and this is smartness, what they call. And the men lost the whole game that morning. And the men said, well, I don't know what's going to happen there and what to expect, and these are only two left, so I better hurry up. So he took the lead before the woman, and he went and checked the costume, the first one, and this first one, the costume in line, had this big pouch in the front, And he said, well, this pouch could be dangerous. If you are running away from danger, and if you have this weight hanging in front of you, you won't be able to run fast. I won't mind if it is on my back, but it is hanging in the front, so this pouch can be dangerous, so no. And then he looked at the arms and the legs and the calf, and he said, well, these are too soft, and these are not really suitable to run and save myself. And look at this skin, it's so soft. Even if a thorn can tear it off. So it's no muscles, no little bit thick even. It's so soft. And with a pouch in the front. No, this is not for me. So he went to the next one and checked it, no pouch in the front. Well, great, that's the one for me. And then said, well, big biceps, I can use my fist. And then he checked the calves and said, well, that's great muscles. I run away. So he said, well, I take this. So he said, well, we came together, let me just ask the woman. At least give her a chance. So he said, do you think you would like to take this? Then she said, no, my dear brother, my dear friend, my dear companion, you decide. Doesn't matter about me. You decide. So he said, okay, when you said so, let me take this one. So he took the male dress, the costume, and she took the female costume. My dear brothers and sisters, can you imagine that very morning men lost the whole game? Men lost in comparison to the divine feminine. And then, as the story goes, later on, can you imagine that they were living in the forest, sharing their life together, and they decided, well, okay, we chose these dresses, these costumes, so we have to be wise and make the best out of it. So they lived together happily. And the woman became the homemaker, and the man became the hunter, the gatherer. And then one day, a dog came around, a wild dog. And the wild dog looked at this woman. And he looked at this woman with a pouch. She was pregnant. And she had another child also. And the dog looked at her costume. And he went into this great meditation. And he saw himself, his own heart, his own mind became the mirror. So the dog saw himself like the one who is doubting so much that I chose this costume. And look at her, she chose this costume, the costume of divinity, the costume of infinite trust. And she has a pouch in the front. She can't run, yet she has so much trust in the creation of God. And he remembered the words of the God when the God said, well, I'll give you the costumes. So the dog said, oh Lord, I made a mistake. I don't want this costume. So the dog was trying to tear off his costume of the dog. But he couldn't, because it was a permanent choice. So the dog decided that day, that morning, that I'm going to make the best out of it. It doesn't matter that I have the wrong costume. I made a wrong choice. So he went to Mama, to this great mother, and to the woman, and he said, "O great goddess, the embodiment of this infinite trust, can I be your companion? Can I be your servant? Can I keep you company? Can I serve you? Will you just give me little place around you? Will you please do that? Because I feel so full of remorse, and I'm so sad that I chose this dress, this costume." So the lady said to the dog that, "Look at yourself. Look at the blood dripping out of your mouth. You will eat my children." So the dog said, "No, Mama, I will never. You give me any wood, piece of wood, and whenever I will have this instinct of blood and flesh and the meat, I will chew the wood. You just give me any wood and it will do. And I promise I will never. And I will be a great watchdog for your house. And I will even fight and die, even with a lion or a tiger. I promise, Mama, I will help you. I'll become your servant." The very day dog became the mama's dog. And so much so that it is so strange that dogs love humanity so much that they even make their own dress, they modify their own costumes the way you like them. If somebody says, "Well, I would like a small little puppy in my pocket," and there, okay, the dog said, "All right, I'll become the puppy, the small little baby in your pocket." They said, "I need a big bulldog," okay, she might say, "I'll become the big one, Labrador or the shepherd dog or anything." My dear brothers and sisters, the dog recognized the difference. Dog, through his observation, the dog recognized the divine character, the divine differences. He transformed those differences of the costume. And he had the great darshan of the divinity in the divine feminine, the female, the great woman. And when he saw her with this great pouch and suckling the child and making the milk out of her own blood, the great mammalian character, the urge of evolutionary urge of life principle, that it could transform its own blood into milk, that's divine feminine. So when the dog observed her differences, he saw and he met and he realized the divinity in that difference. That is the power of gazing and the power of creative observation. So when we observe the great show around us in the universe, believing that is God in action, believe me, the whole divinity will unfold in front of our own eyes, and we will see that it is truly God in action. So when we respect the differences of each other so much that we find the divinity in there. So the first step is to respect the differences. The second one is to appreciate those differences of each other, of our costumes, male and female. And then move to the third, cultivate the reverence for those differences. And when we cultivate the reverence for those differences, believe me, we will see divinity in each other. We'll have the darshan of divinity in each other. And a woman will be able to have the glimpse of Lord Shiva in the male. And the man will have the glimpse of Mother Goddess in the divine feminine. My brothers and sisters, Lord Shiva is the embodiment of infinite innocence. And Mother Parvati is the embodiment of infinite trust. And these two are the polarities. And these are the two characters of these two polarities, the dominant characters. Shiva is infinitely innocent, and that's how he got the name Bholenath, the Lord of Innocence. And the Mother Goddess is the embodiment of infinite trust. And that is what these two polarities are. And when they join together, the infinite innocence and the infinite trust, believe me, the divinity is created. Thank you very much, and have a very, very beautiful day. Thank you very much, my brothers and sisters.